Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, I'm finally doing it. I'm playing Goblins in Historic, best of one. I'm going to be the bad guy. Before I get into the list and talk a little bit about it, the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Thank you very much for doing that, as always. And the deck list, as well as timestamps, are in the description. So, Historic Goblins. There's not a whole lot to say about this deck, is there? The name of the game is, of course, Muxus. Muxus is insane. Let's give it a quick read. It says, when Muxus enters the battlefield, reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Put all goblin creature cards with mana value 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library. Then, whenever Muxus attacks, it gets +1/+1 until the end of turn for each goblin you control. This card is absurd. I'm sure you've faced off against it before. When it hits, and even when it hits like just slightly, it's still a monster. So the rest of the deck is basically built around that. We have a couple of enablers. Skirt Prospector allows us to sacrifice goblins, add 1 red mana, allows us to get to 6 very quickly. We also have the Wily Goblin, which when it enters the battlefield, it creates a treasure token, again, helping us get to 6 a little bit quicker. And sometimes when we're at 4, we have an Ironcrag Feat that says add 7 red mana. You can only cast 1 more spell this turn. Well, that 1 more spell is most certainly going to be the Goblin Grandee, and you're probably going to take a win. There are a few more other important cards in the deck. Of course, we're playing a couple of Lords. We have the Trash Master, just as a one-of, gives +1/+1, and allows us to destroy artifacts. The Goblin War Chief reduces the cost of goblins, pretty sweet, and gives goblins you control haste. So if you hit a Goblin War Chief off of your Muxus, of course then Muxus is going to be slamming in the turn it came down. And then Goblin Chieftain, a little bit better, also gives haste and also gives +1/+1 to all of your goblins. Pretty sweet little cards. On top of that, we have Krenko, another equally powerful card. This one says, create X11 red goblin creature tokens, where X is the number of goblins you control. If you hit a Krenko and, let's say, a Goblin War Chief and maybe a Wily Goblin off of your Muxus, well, Krenko is going to have haste. You can turn it sideways, make a whole bunch of goblins, and go smashing in for so much damage. To round out the rest of the list, we have 4 of the Goblin Matron. This is going to come down and allow us to search our library for a Goblin card. Most of the time, that's going to be Muxus. Sometimes you have a Muxus in hand, though, and you need to find something like a Skirt Prospector just to enable the 6 mana that you need for the Muxus. And then a Conspicuous Snoop. We do have 4 of them in the deck, and this card is pretty bonkers when it works out. It says you may cast Goblin spells from the top of your library. Pretty wild. And then as long as the top card of your library is a goblin card, Conspicuous Snoop has all activated abilities of that card. So if we have a Skirt Prospector on top, we can sacrifice goblins. If we have a Krenko on top, we can make a whole bunch of goblins. If we have Trash Master on top, we can destroy artifacts. So pretty sweet little synergies in this deck. To round out the rest of the list, we have a couple of important lands. 2 Phyrexian Towers. Again, a little bit of ramp if we need to sacrifice maybe a Goblin token, give us 2 black, get us up to 6 mana very quickly. And then Castle Embereth, that allows us to pump up our attacking goblins when we're slamming in with a wide board. So that is the deck. There is a sideboard, but I am only playing it in best of 1. Really just kind of getting used to the deck and wanted to put out something nice and easy for Friday. So, jump into a couple of games and see how it goes. See you over there. Alright, so Goblins in Historic. Oh man. I knew this day was coming. Opening hand is interesting. With 1 more land, it would definitely be a keep. I think it's too risky though, right? Throw it back. Okay. Not sure what to do, if I should throw away a land or if I should throw away probably the War Chief. I think I gotta throw away War Chief, yeah. So I haven't played the deck too much. I've been very, very busy all week getting stuff done. But I wanted to put out something, and I was kind of feeling tribal. I was thinking elves, but goblins won out in the end. I don't know. I like goblins. Goblins was my first deck in Modern. I've talked about that before in some of my other videos. Krenko on top. Burning Tree, I'm sorry, for the opponent, sure. Ooh, good start for the Gruul player. Oops, clicked the wrong button. I wanted to activate the Krenko there before, or the Conspicuous Snoop before drawing it, but I kind of just fat-fingered my way over it. Alright, gonna put out a Goblin Matron and go and find... I don't know if I want to go find a Muxus right now, because I don't have very much mana. I kind of want to find the Skirt Prospector, maybe? And then hopefully with the Krenko, can do something cool. Also have another Goblin Matron to find a backup Muxus later on. But definitely a little bit of a slow start on the mulligan. I'm going to take 6. I think it's fine. Opponent's stuck maybe on mana. They only have red. So that is a possibility. I think it's probably worth it to just go out with the Muxus, and then next turn, assuming the Muxus lives, kind of start doing some interesting things. I'll get in with the Snoop. If they want to stomp the Snoop, okay. Okay, they find their red, or their green mana, rather. And I'm assuming that's going to be a Bone Crusher Giant. No block. Take another 6. Okay. Hurts a little bit. Alright, so we can do that. Put out the Skirt Prospector. Put out the Goblin Matron. Bone Crusher on the Prospector. Oof, that is nasty. Okay, it's gonna happen. I think I have to get the Muxus this time, and then just kind of hope to draw into a 6th land. I think that's probably my only avenue, or a Prospector that also gets me there. Well, a lot of thinking going into this Goblin deck. Clothis, not the scariest card. They're not attacking. Okay, they know they're just gonna get chump blocked here, so there's really no point. Missed on that. All right. No attack. Gum up the board a little bit, make a lot of goblins this time, and we are on a clock, so gonna have to get lucky soon enough. Unfortunately, I know the 6th land is not coming because the Snoop tells me so. But with this Krenko out, and if they can't deal with it, might be able to just go wide enough to make a difference. Now, if they have an Embercleave, gonna have to block very big on all of these creatures if they attack in this turn. Really need the top of the deck to be something good for this Snoop, I think. Okay. So, 7 more goblins. It is a Skirt Prospector. It's the best card that it could have been. Just insane. Alright. Well. Come on, Muxie. I wonder if I should have used the Krenko beforehand. I don't think so. I have one in hand. Okay. This is just insane. So, do I do another Muxus? Oh, the opponent doesn't want to have any of it. I could have sacrificed another 6 goblins. Yeah. This deck is fun. Next one. Alright, more goblins. I'm really worried that I'm actually gonna enjoy this a lot. Wow, look at this hand. Oh boy, and we get to go first. So, Skirt Prospector. The only annoying thing about Skirt Prospector is it does have an ability that it's always asking you if you need to do it. So, a lot of clicks. Well, may as well get in with the Prospector. Next turn, I do have the option of going ham with the Ironcrag feet. The opponent is representing a memory lapse, though, so I think it's probably not the best idea to do that. You know what? I think I'm just going to attack. Opponent being playful. I'm thinking over here. I'm a goblin. I gotta think sometimes. An opus, sure. Oh, hey. That's right. Time Warp just got banned a little while ago, I guess about 5 hours ago. I saw the little thing there. Well, that's actually kind of good. So, I can't imagine they're running a Spell Pierce. Nope. So, Muxus to the board. Let's see if we can find 16 damage. Yeah. That looks like 16 damage to me. But yeah, Time Warp got banned. We don't have to deal with Time Warp anymore. This deck... Yeah. Anyways. Goblins! Next one. Alright, more goblins. The last game went so fast, I was in the middle of a thought talking about the Time Warp ban. Do you think it was an appropriate ban to happen? I know a lot of people seem to be arguing that it probably wasn't the correct thing to ban, and Brainstorm seems to be the card most people are hunting, but yeah, I don't know. Who am I to say what was the correct choice for Wizards? Well, let me know what you think. I'm very interested to hear the opinions of others as far as that banning goes. Alright, so, well, playing our cards out nice and honestly. No attack into the Brawler. The Script Prospector is an insanely valuable card in the deck, as seen in Game 1. Oh, well, that's too bad. The cool thing, though, I can sacrifice that Goblin and fizzle the poor Bone Crusher Giant, so always keep that in mind. Same thing with, like, Lightning Helixes. You can blank the 3 life gain from the opponent. So they're getting frisky, attacking in for 4, sure thing. Need a good hit here. Goblin Matron is okay. And you know what? I think I'm playing out the Goblin Matron over the Krenko. Go and get you-know-who. Such a brain-dead deck. Alright, attack in for 1. And then next turn we have a whole bunch of ways that I can hopefully get up to 6 mana. As long as both creatures survive, I can get 6 mana. Sure. Sure. Okie doke. Hey. So we'll get rid of the Goblin Matron. Play out the Muxus. Hit pretty well. What do I want to go find? And doesn't matter. Opponent doesn't care anymore. Next one. Alright. So there's an added upside to playing this deck, and that is that everybody absolutely hates it. And because everybody absolutely hates this deck, you get a lot of kind of like free wins because people just like, they can't be bothered. They're moving on to the next thing. Opening hand is cool, but don't have a payoff, so I'm going to throw it away. This hand, a little sketch because of obviously the Wily Goblin, but it's so tempting to keep it. I'm going to keep it and see if I get punished. I'm going to do that. Praying to the Goblin gods, and they answer my call. Also using the Goblin Jumpstart art, which I think looks pretty snazzy. Opponent on a Dwarven Mine deck, so you know they're doing degenerate stuff, probably with indomitable creativity. Could be our match. Kind of degenerate deck versus degenerate deck. Expressive iteration for the opponent. Nice and slow. That's good to see. Okay, they hit their lay and drop, of course. Well, up to 5 mana. What do I want to do? Just want to play out a Krenko? Maybe not. Maybe I play with the Wily Goblin to kind of guarantee that next turn I go with Muxus. I think that's probably the better play. Almost guarantee. Alright. So, 4th land for the opponent, but they don't have something to hit with the creativity yet. Do they have a counterspell? Probably. So I don't really want to throw the Muxus out into that quite yet. So instead, I think I'm just going to go out with the Goblin War Chief, maybe attack in. Sure. Goblin War Chief, and then maybe they make their move. We might just die here if they do... what is it called? No, not that thing. Or they can still do it. The one that makes a treasure, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. I haven't played for a week and my mind's gone blank on all this stuff. Okay, the opponent's going nice and slowly, making me think they probably have some way of dealing with the Muxus once it comes down. So I think I'm just going to throw out the Trashmaster. The added bonus of the Trashmaster is if they do play the Prismari command, that's the card, I could possibly destroy it, destroy the treasure. Instead, they had the counterspell, so smart not to just throw out the old Muxie. So this is what happens when you play Jumpstart. I made a video for Jumpstart on Wednesday, opened enough Muxus and Krenkos while playing Jumpstart to justify going down this route. Look where I am now. Okay, another tap land for the opponent, and I wonder if they're going to tap out. Come on, tap out. No tap out. Well, unfortunately, Phyrexian Tower is legendary, so I think I'm going to keep to the plan of attacking with the Wily Goblins. And put out a Muxus. Not a Muxus, sorry, Krenko. Baby Muxus. Memory lapse. Sure. Okie dokie. Well, they should be kind of running out of interactions soon, right? Although they might be getting up to a point where they can Torrential Gearhulk something. They can creativity on the Dwarf. Maybe they're trying to get a few last Time Warps in before the ban. A Niv Mizzet. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Because that is 1 open mana, and I think that means we're going for the old Muxie. See if they find another untapped mana. I'm not sure. I think they put out something this turn already. Well, Brainstorm, sure. So they're going to cast the Brainstorm. So that is an opening for us. Thankfully, we do still have 6 mana open, so maybe Muxus comes down and just steals a win. It would be nice if I knew the Krenko could come out, but unfortunately Krenko is going to be in hand by then. And 1 War Chief, 1 Chieftain already in hand or in the graveyard, so it's fine. Okay, go buddy. Oh my god. Alright, well. Pact of Negation, what a card. Free spells. Making magic better, right? Yeah. I need another Muxus off the top and this not to be counter magic. And maybe? But yeah, I don't think so. Well, fight through it, but this is, I think this is pretty sealed up with that Pact of Negation. That was pretty awesome. What's going on over here? So they're just going all face. They know they can end it. They just need, yeah, well, in fact, draw, hit me with Niv Mizzet, and we're done. Well, at least we found... Alright, for the sake of saving time, we're going to the next one. Good on you, opponent. It was awesome. Try again. Alright, more goblins. Who knew Force of, what is it? Not Force of Negation, that's a, a card in a totally different format. Pact of Negation could stop any spell. Pretty wild. Don't see it. It's not a card that was on my radar whatsoever. I think the only time that it really came up was during the Pact week where everybody was playing Tainted Pact Thassa's Oracle for what? It was 12 days. Let's get some value play off the top of our deck. War Chief. Okay. Oh my goodness. People are just... What's happening? Alright. Well, I think I'm okay with them hitting the Goblin, or rather hitting the Snoop over the War Chief. It's probably better for me. Huh. Well, now I got to assume that they have even more shenanigans. I wonder if this is going to be like a mono blue tempo deck with lots of counters, or if it's going to be... just a is it Merfolk? Is that going to be a thing now? Well, the opponent definitely has me scared, and I don't want to attack in now for future Merfolk, and they just give up. Yeah, at least it was fast. Next one. All right, more goblins. Last game was a little bit of a non-game, which brings up a point that I want to talk about. I try not to cut games out. Well, the only time I do is when, you know, I have to run out in the middle of a best of 3 and I just concede, or, you know, some weird things happen. For the most part, I don't like cutting out games. What do you guys think about that? In a case of, like, the last game, it wasn't much of a game. It's like a minute and a half of nothing, and then we move on. Is it worth it even keeping that game in this video? Is it something that should be cut out? Let me know. I'm very curious about that. Okay, opponent is on something awesome. I love Storm Herald. Cool opponent. Okay. So they're going to be reanimating a bunch of stuff. Making some zombies. But we are on track for a Muxus very soon. How do I do this to maximize? So next turn I'll put out the Phyrexian Tower. Yeah, so Wily Goblin. That's 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Oh, nice and simple. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have a way of killing me before then. Then I can just slam the Muxus and probably win, because that's how Goblins works. Very fun. Mire Train is really good. Be able to jump in the way of this boy. In fact, they're going to have a nice little board here to stop the Goblin Assault. Getting greedy. Alright, in for 2, sure thing. So, do that. Throw out this. Hit pretty well. Yeah. Do I attack though? Why not? Right? They kill Muxus. It's fine. Sure. I guess they could also kill the Chieftain if they want to put both of their creatures in front of it. They don't. Alright. Well, that was a pretty good hit, and then our follow-up is also going to be pretty good. Oh, our follow-up is a Muxus. Well, still, the opponent has certainly put a lot of good cards in their graveyard. Well, no. Okay. Hang on a second. So we could get hit real hard here with this Storm Herald. Have to be careful. Maybe I should have held back the Wily Goblin, but it's going to get trampled anyways. From either this or from the growth. That's pretty cool. Not a card I don't know if I've ever even seen this card. It's pretty wild. They're figuring out if they're going to have enough damage when they slam in. I think they're going to have 9, 12, 17. They're 1 damage off. Right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they only had the 3 runes, so I think they had 17 damage. Ooh. Oh, but they have another growth in there now. So, next turn is certainly go time. So we have it with just this. Don't have to sacrifice anything. This time, hit the Krenko. I'm very sorry, opponent. They're doing cool things, and I'm over here being the bad guy. I should feel bad about this. I don't know if I do, but... Next one. Alright. I think I actually am feeling bad playing this deck. It's so busted. It's just awful, isn't it? Opening hand, again, with the Phyrexian Tower makes things a little bit awkward, but I think it's okay to keep it. This name looks familiar, and the island. I wonder if this is just the... Yeah, the tempo, mono blue tempo player that just gave up playing against me. Maybe? Attacking in with the Storm Tamer. Sure. Well, I could put out the Muxus, or the Krenko rather. I think, I keep calling this Muxus, I don't know why. I wonder if I've done it a few times. I think I'm going to attack in with the Snoop and try to draw out the ambush. No ambush. Okay, since that's the case, I'm going to put out the Goblin Matron. Find you-know-who. End my turn. So they did have a flash creature, but they weren't taking the bait. If they had taken the bait and had tapped out, I probably would have went out with the Krenko. That was kind of the way I was thinking last turn. This Cutthroat could get in the way quite a bit. So I wonder if I just try to slam the Muxus. The thing is, they're certainly going to have a counterspell for it. Maybe it's just Krenko. Yeah, let's go with Krenko. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I'll challenge the Cutthroat. I don't think they'd block, but I think I'm fine with that. They could end up gaining a ton of advantage from this Curious Obsession, but I don't obviously have any way of dealing with it. A Terramander, pretty good. Okay, Goblin Matron. So, again, I could try to go with the Muxus, but they have to have some kind of counters magic, right? I'm going to try to draw out all of their counters. Oh. Sure. Okay. I mean, I guess that's fine to use it. It's not like that's going to come up any other time in this matchup. Now I think I'm probably at a point where I will try to just jam Muxus, because getting so far behind. Maybe I should have done it last turn. It's... I don't know. I don't know. If I do this, though, I have to sacrifice the Prospector. Do I have one more turn? I think I have to. I have to try. Hope they don't have hard counter. That's all I gotta hope for. Alright. So, getting under the thumb of this deck, of course, is going to be bad news. And them having a Curious Obsession, us having no interaction. Not gonna be good. It's gonna be slow. Alright. Well, Goblin Matron. Grab another Muxus. Try again next turn. I'm gonna have a couple of turns still, right? Oh, no, maybe I don't. Because they flash out the Brazen Borrower this turn, so we're dead in 2. As long as they don't have Counterspell, then... yeah, still dead in 2. Unless they can pump up the Pteramander, which they can. Okay, good on your opponent. I wonder if this is the same opponent that just conceded that game. I wonder if they're getting their revenge or not. It'll be interesting to check in the editing. Next one. Alright, so Goblins, probably last game with them. I believe that's 8 games. They've gone super quickly, obviously. Some of them were non-games, and others were just over before they started because of Muxus. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one because they're going to have a lot of spot removal for things like the Prospector. They're probably also going to have some kind of hand disruption, so we'll see. It's probably Shadow. Assuming Shadow because they're going to be doing damage to themselves. I was talking to a friend today about the idea activate only as a sorcery and how that affects the power level of so many cards. Well, now I think I put out the Wily Goblin just in case I draw the Muxus next turn. And yeah, what were we talking about? We were talking about Pyre of Heroes, and he had told me that Pyre of Heroes was only sorcery speed. And I hadn't realized that because it's not a card I've really looked at. I just know you have to pay to activate it. And I thought that was the big drawback of the card. But no, apparently you have to... yeah, do it only at sorcery speed, and it just nerfs the whole power level of the card so much. And then I started talking about these runes, or these deserts, rather. And only the Ramanap runes is instant speed, I suppose, which I didn't realize, and that's kind of interesting. Okay, I think I have to put out Krenko. Otherwise, I'm going to die, because I'm going to need chump blockers very, very soon. So very vulnerable right now. If they're able to kill the Krenko, I think it's pretty much game over. And that's that. If Krenko lives one turn, hopefully can draw out the game quite a bit. Can't block at all here. Okay. So I'm kind of assuming there's going to be a pump on the knight. No pump, okay. Well, they're still going to get +1/+1 because of a total damage of 4. Inquisition, sure. It's pretty much irrelevant. They can take a chieftain if they would like. Take the Snoop. So what would be the best draw? Krenko off the top? Not Krenko. Muxus. Now I'm switching. It's Muxus. All right, so I go for the Muxus here. How do I do it though? I just it's got to be this way. There's no other way. Not great. What do I get? Can I get a land? That'd be awfully nice, wouldn't it? I think I might actually just grab a wily goblin. Yeah. Okay, no attack. So at least that hit kind of keeps me alive, and then we'll see where it goes from there. If I can untap with Krenko next turn, then I can start doing some really fun things. Perhaps I should have just grabbed another Muxus because I have the Script Prospector. I could sack other things. Oh, wow. Okay, it's a land. So, put out the Wily Goblin. Tap Krenko. Put out the Goblin Chieftain. I don't actually know what I'm doing here. I kind of know what I'm doing, but I don't fully know what I'm doing here. Probably like every single Goblins player. Oh yeah, goblins are fun. I'll admit it. I'm a bad person, I suppose. Wrap up. Alright, so there's no conclusion really here. It's a powerful deck. Everybody knows that, especially in Best of 1. I'm not sure how it matches up in Best of 3. Here's the sideboard if you want to take a look at it. It's a stock list. I just kind of grabbed it because I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, it looks fine. I imagine the core of the deck is, of course, just fine. But it's the Muxus show. Just get up to Muxus, play him out, and you win. I got to actually look at that. I'm going to put a little note on the bottom. How many games I won on the back of Muxus. I think I played 8 games and I won 6 of them. So is it 6 out of 8 games on the back of Muxus? There'll be a little thing down here telling you whether or not that's true. Muxus are crazy though, and we all know that. As far as the deck's price goes, it's a pretty expensive deck at 25 rares, I believe, right? 7, 11, 12, 18, 25. 25 rares for the main board. Yeah, a little hot. I do really like Ironcrag Feet. This was a card when I saw the deck I was a little skeptical about, but oh my god, on turn 4, if you can just play this out to ramp into this guy, you know, it's pretty wild, and it worked out several times for me. Anyways, that's a deck. It's cool. It's Goblins. I'm probably going to play it a lot more because I actually did have a tremendous amount of fun playing it. Who wouldn't? It's kind of like autopilot. Just race to Mythic with it. That's it for today. See you next week. Take care. Have a good weekend.